And welcome back to Sports the Nemo Way. Here we are, ready to talk about Jerry West, the logo. The 6'2", 175-pound shooting guard is a 0-time MVP, 1-time champ, a 14-time All-Star, 12-time All-NBA, playing 14 years in the NBA after being pick number 2, and he is also a Hall of Famer. With career averages of 27, 5, and 6 on 47% shooting. And I didn't ask beforehand who I kick it to first. So I guess we go to the guy that doesn't have him at all, Ray.
Okay. Well, this is going to be interesting. So I started my argument off as if he was a point guard. And then I made my correction after I looked at a paper and did another argument as if he was a shooting guard. But I'm going to do both arguments, and we're going to see how this flies. All right. So I started off, and I just compared him to my whole point guard list. Isaiah Thomas is assist champ, Finals MVP, 2-time champ. Mark Jackson, assist champ. Stockton, 9-time assist champ, 2-time steals champ. Peyton is a whole different kind of point guard. He's a defensive player of the year and steals champ. And then we got Chris Paul, 4-time steals champ. Oscar Robertson, 6-time steals champ. Kidd, 5-time steals champ. And Nash, 5-time steals champ. Kuzi, 6-time. And then Magic, 4-time. And I did this whole argument of, well, Jerry West really isn't your typical point guard because he doesn't have any of that. And I'm like, well, this seems, a great argument to start with.
Well, Ray, I won't argue with you. You're right.
All right. And then I'll read my little spiel here. And I said, I don't see West as a point guard. All the point guards are fundamentally sound. As a textbook point guard, assist first. If it's not there, then they score. Jerry West, as we can see here, obviously is a score first player, so I could not see him on my point guards list. And then I was going to be cute, and I was like, he was 3 assists per game. He's 32 on the career assist list. And then I was like, oh, man, he's behind Reggie in total points. And I'm like, yeah, I got this argument. And then here we go. Then we got the shooting guard list, and I still compared him to all my shooting guards. I got went down to, I just did total points on this one. So I got Jordan at 5th, Bryant at 4th, Iverson's 25th, Wade's 30th, Gervin's 42, Reggie's 21, Allen's 24, Drexler's 32, Vince's 19th, and then Joe Dumars is 106th. And here's this argument here. If we compare him more to the shooting guard list, he fits in more, and Joe is at the bottom of my totem pole. And even then, if I would even think of swapping Joe out, which I don't want to do, and I wouldn't do, I would almost have to swallow my pride and put James Harden in, because James Harden, yeah, I know. I see the faces right now.
Yeah.
Even with all his... Man, because we had this episode already.
I knew my argument was good, Drew.
Man.
Mine was too.
And if I put James Harden in, because he fits naturally and translate in every area of basketball, the basketball box, unlike West, which I think is a little bit better than Havlicek, but he still does not become the early NBA legend like he is in the 60s. And Harden translates through everything. So... if I would trade Dumars, which I definitely would not, I think Harden would go in before West.
All right. Well, I'm going to say, Ray, I haven't laughed that hard at an opening statement the whole time we've done this podcast, so I appreciate the comedy.
Hey, no problem.
A very big surprise where you threw Harden in there above Jerry West. So I'm super interested to see how this is going to go. And I do believe I have Jerry West the second lowest, which would be 26th. So huge jump there from nothing to 26. So here's pretty much what I have about Jerry West. I have him 4th on my shooting guard list, so very high on my shooting guard list. So I am a big Jerry West supporter. He did just come in lower on my overall list than some of the rest of you all. By the way, did you guys know that Jerry West at 6'2" had a 6'7" wingspan?
No, I did not.
That's like some in today's NBA. Everybody would be gushing over him, like, dude, a 6'2" guard with 6'7" wingspan, like, holy cow! You know, everybody would be all into that. So that was pretty cool. And it's the first guy from the '60s that I found his wingspan.
Huh.
I normally don't see that stuff. So I just have some interesting facts over here for my opening statement. I don't have any big arguments. Bill Russell once said that Jerry West was the most beloved player in the NBA. Red Auerbach once said that Jerry West was the greatest defensive guard in NBA history. I do believe I said this in the John Havlicek episode, but I'll say it again. John Havlicek once said that if he could give one of his championships to somebody, it would be Jerry West. So I think that also falls in line with everybody loved Jerry West. Just a quick little thing about our lists. Doug and Drew both have West at 3rd on their shooting guard lists, while Wade and I both have West 4th on our shooting guard list. We both flip-flopped Dwayne Wade and Jerry West. We had Dwayne Wade at 3 and West at 4, and you guys did the opposite.
Okay.
So pretty similar on our top of our shooting guard lists. That being said, the last thing I wanted to touch on in my opening statement was Jerry West is considered one of the greatest shooters of all time. And you can look at his highlights and his tapes and such and see him not only shooting, but shooting from ridiculous distances at points. So I think the three-point line would have been a great weapon for Jerry West if he would have played later. But I do think he would have moved to point guard full-time, being 6'2", in a more modern NBA. But I think he could have handled it later in his career. When things changed in L.A., he did do a lot more ball handling while Gail Goodrich was doing more of the scoring. And he had back-to-back seasons of 9 assists. So I think he could have ran the point, and I think he could have translated, and I think the three-point line would have been a great weapon for Jerry West.
And he already averaged 27 a game, so
Right.
you had threes, and that's going to be pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. So then I believe that kicks to Wade.
Well, the things that kind of stuck out for me with Jerry West were, one, he shot 47% back in the 60s, where we talked about how everyone shot very poorly back then, usually below 40%, and he was a jump shooter, shooting 47% back then with rushed possessions and all that good stuff. Sorry, excuse me. I'm looking at this. Did he really never win an MVP? Jerry West never won an MVP.
Nope.
That kind of astonishes me, to be completely honest.
Well, if you look at the 60s, either Wilt or Russell won it every year pretty much, except for one where Oscar won it. It's that Wilt and Russell just divided up the 60s and said, we're going to win all the MVPs.
That's crazy.
You just talking about an NBA MVP, right?
Just a regular season,
Okay, right.
MVP, yeah. That kind of astonished me when I was looking at this. But anyway, what kind of another neat fact is he might go in the Hall of Fame also as a front office person. Again, because he's been so dominant at that after retiring from playing basketball.
I believe he will.
Yeah.
He's turned around like 3 franchises.
He has. He's so revered as a front office guy.
I mean, he built the Showtime Lakers, and
he built it. It's talking about parity. He built the Showtime run and gun Lakers, and then he built the grit and grind Grizzlies.
Right.
Like
then-
that's huge difference.
He was in
Yeah.
Golden State when they started building their dynasty
Yes,
too.
you're right.
Yeah.
And then
Who's he with now?
The Clippers.
the Clippers.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay.
And he's made them relevant. At least. Took them to their first Western Conference Finals this year.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, back to playing Jerry West. He, like Alex said, great shooter, and he was an extremely intelligent player, which obviously both translate to other eras of basketball. So he's one of the 3 or 4 older players that I have translating to most other eras, and that's why he's managed to be 21 on my list.
Is that it, Wade?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that leads us to Uncle Doug, who has him where?
I believe it's 13.
13 on his list. So we're climbing pretty high here. We're climbing.
Yeah, we are. Well, if you look at his all-time numbers, he's 26th in scoring, but his average is 4th in history in scoring. Rebounds, he's like 246 and not top 50 because he averaged like 5.8 or whatever. Assists, he's 32nd, and his average is like 35th. So he did do well. Like Alex said, a couple years, +9. He had 4 seasons where he averaged over 30 points a game. He is the only player to win the Finals MVP on the losing team. And then for that series, he averaged, I think, 37.9, 4.7, and 7.4 assists for a 7-game series. Talking about him being a good shooter, field goal percentage was .474, but I talked about his true field goal percentage, which is one of the newer metrics. They applied that. He was first in the league in 65-66 and in 67-68. And 11 times of his 14 years, he was top 20 in true field goal percentage, which for a guard, like you were saying when you're talking about guys like Wilt and Russell and guys shooting, I mean.
So I'm just going to pose a quick question here because I really don't know the answer to it. What does the 3-point line do to your true shooting percentage? Because I don't know how they calculate. I think we
Yeah,
talked about this
I
before. I don't know
know.
how they calculate it, so I don't know what it does to it.
James Harden usually has a very good true shooting percentage because he shoots a ton of free throws and a ton of threes. But you just have to make at least like 34, 35-ish% of your threes, and it will help your true shooting percentage.
Right, because
And the higher up,
Harden's not an elite 3-point shooter.
He's just
He's like, yeah,
solid.
35, 36%.
Yes.
So, like, but yeah, you're right. He always has a really high true shooting percentage,
'Cause
but
he's-
his free throw percentage is really high all the time.
Yes.
I don't know if that has anything to do with it because
Well,
I literally don't know how to
Yeah,
calculate
because
it.
he's constantly shooting threes, which are worth more than twos, and free throws. And as long as you make a certain percentage of those threes, they're more valuable than a 2, so it increases your true shooting percentage. If that
Right,
makes
right.
sense.
I know how they do the whole, if you shoot, they do the calculation between 2-point percentage and 3-point percentage, which one's more valuable and
Yeah.
all that
So
stuff.
if Jerry West was at least a decent 3-point shooter, or more than likely he would have been a very good 3-point shooter, it would
Probably.
have probably made his true shooting percentage even better
Okay.
than what
Okay.
Uncle Doug was even talking about.
Okay.
So he actually his peak was he scored 63 points once over the Knicks, and that was in 62. Trying to look at some of the other stuff here. Of course, we mentioned the Finals MVP. He has an assist championship, scoring champ, 5 times all defense. So yeah, I've read a couple books on Jerry West, and talks about how when they would lose championships, how he just was devastated. He had such a drive to win that it was just devastated him to lose. And of course, they lost quite a few championships. He was in a bunch. And,
8, right? He lost 8.
Yes, I
1-1.
believe so. I think he was 1-8.
Most of those are probably to the same team.
Yes.
So
Yeah, you
that's
see-
probably even more
See
frustrating.
the same
Right.
people over and
Yeah.
over.
Yes.
The same, yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know this exactly, but just in my mind, it feels like the Celtics made the championship every year and played either West Lakers or Pettit's Hawks
Right.
every year. Like this is what it seems like. Man, I'm sure I'm wrong. I'm sure there's somebody else snuck in there, but
Well, you got to think back then there's only like 13 teams or 11
Yeah.
teams or something like
Yeah.
that. So
they had,
you
like,
have three
only-
dominant teams. They're going
Right.
to make it every year.
I was
Then
like-
the Knicks popped in there a time or two because in that when the Knicks won their title was early 70s.
early 70s they won. Yeah. Yeah.
So
But yeah, with that certain lack of teams, you get 3 or 4 really good teams. They're going to kill the other 8.
Yeah. I was
Right.
thinking something up in the Bob Pettit episode, and it's like they only had like one round of the playoffs before you got to the finals. 'Cause he like played the Lakers, and then he played the Celtics, and that was the whole playoffs. Just by looking, I'm like, that's
Yeah,
weird.
I mean, I know early on there was much less rounds and much less games. That's why nobody from this era is on any of the playoff record books because they didn't
Right.
play enough games.
Yeah.
Like, now we play 7-game series from start to finish. Sometimes these guys are playing 3-game series twice. That's it. Like,
Yeah.
instead of 4 7-game series, you're playing 2 3-game series or
Yeah.
2 5-game series. Russell and Chamberlain were averaging 25, 30 rebounds a game in the playoffs and still aren't on the playoff rebound list. Like, sorry, I was a tangent.
I'm good to pass it on. So
All right. Well, now that you've heard we go to the highest rated West person. I don't know how to say that. Drew, who has him at number 7, correct?
correct.
All right. So, Drew, 7.
Oh well, normally my opening statements are very short, so we're going to keep it like we normally do.
you had a feeling?
No, not a feeling. Can't have a feeling for number 7. Well, my first point is with his shooting. I think his shooting was very, very, very good for the 60s because we always talk about these set shots and all these possessions, rushing stuff. Be able to shoot 47%. It's pretty good. I think people today would take shooting 47% in a heartbeat. And I've heard stories and stuff about Jerry making like last second shots like far away from the basket, but he just ties the game because they're only down 2. I think 3-point line would benefit him a lot. More points. He could have won because I've heard stories he shot barely inside half court, made it, but it was only a 2, so they didn't have the 3-point line or something like that. I think.
Didn't he hit like a shot from the opposite free throw line to tie a game
Yeah, I
in
think
the
there's another
finals
one
one
there.
year?
Yeah.
It was like something
It's
ridiculous. Like
part of the Mr. Clutch nickname. Yeah.
But it was only 2, so they would just tie and then went to overtime instead of winning. So yeah, there's that. And then I think is one of the most impressive things is he won the NBA Finals MVP on the losing team. I mean, just think about that. He's standing out there with, I'll just say the Celtics probably. They won the championship, but he's holding the Finals MVP trophy. Like, you always see pictures with one person on the winning team with both of them. Not that year. Jerry.
Yeah.
I mean, I just find that very impressive. That's all I got for now.
I guess I haven't really thoroughly looked through your list, and I'm just now looking who all you have Jerry
Oh,
West
boy.
ahead of. Very interesting.
I gotta look.
Very
at this
interesting.
again.
Alex's number 2 player is behind Jerry West on your list.
Oh, I know who that is.
The old hairy turd.
yeah, I
Elijah.
believe Drew has him rated the lowest of anybody.
At
Olajuwon?
8, you got Shaq and Olajuwon and Duncan all below Jerry West. These are
Your number 1 power
What?
forward is behind your number 3 shooting guard.
I guess.
very
yeah.
very intriguing. Very intriguing. He has 3 shooting guards in the top 7.
Hmm. So I assume Mike and Kobe are the
Yeah.
2 ahead of him, right?
Yes.
His top 4 is pretty. It's just like ours, I think. We all have
Yeah.
the same.
Oh yeah, I knew. I said that earlier. Yeah. So I have a question because Drew brought it up and reminded me of it. The losing team MVP. Why do you think Jerry West is the only one to have that happen? Because there's been guys lose that have had like LeBron just a few years ago had a hellacious finals,
Right, yeah.
and he didn't get the MVP. They gave it to Andre Iguodala.
Yeah, that was kind of
Was
strange.
that the year, or was that a different year? Or is
Well,
it-
I mean, that was the year that he was like playing awesome, and they took him to 6 without both the other 2, with Kyrie and Love,
I thought
and he
LeBron
was
had
cramping
that.
up and stuff.
No, it doesn't matter. He usually averages like a 30-point triple-double every year. Doesn't really
Well,
matter.
that's true too.
Okay.
There's some other people in consideration besides Iguodala too.
I guess it depends on what's going on. I don't have the exact stats in front of me, so I don't know.
I don't either.
Is there a player on the winning team with close, similar stats that obviously they're gonna win it? How how I don't know if it's. I mean,
What year did he do that, Drew? Do you know?
69,
69.
68,
69.
69.
Finals.
Yeah.
Well, I know that the best player on the other finals, the best statistics on the other finals team was Havlicek, because I was looking at it during that argument, but I don't have it in front of me. So
Well,
I'm gonna
just
look
thinking
for it.
about that. Has it even come close to any other years from 69 or 68? Like, because we still have the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010. Like, it's not even close.
I mean,
Did
I
they
don't-
ever consider it? Like, I don't know. Is that
I don't know.
somewhere?
I don't think they really tell you how much they consider other players for
Like, they
the
just
Yeah.
take like
Finals
5
MVP.
minutes after everyone's running around celebrating. He's Finals MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even ever remember hearing votes.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Like,
saying.
yeah,
oh,
I
it
mean,
was,
you
it
don't
was
know.
7-3, or it was unanimous, or I just remember
Yeah,
this-
I just-
this
they
is
just
the
announce
MVP.
it.
Just
and
hands
that's
it out.
it.
They have Bill Russell normally carry it out and hand it.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
close for those finals games with Jerry West with the loss?
All right, so here you go. I got it pulled up now. All right, game 1. The Lakers won by 2. In game 2, the Lakers won by 6.
Okay.
And then in game 3, the Celtics won by 5. In game 4, the Celtics won by 1. In game 5, the Lakers won by 13.
Mm.
In game 6, the Celtics won by 9. And in game 7, the Celtics won by 2. So they're all fairly close. One 13-point game, one 9-point game, but the rest of them were all 1s, 2s, 3s.
I think that's probably why, 'cause they were so dead even close. that-
And it probably
one or
has
two
to go
possessions.
7, I'm guessing. You can't give someone the MVP
Yeah.
who got swept.
Yeah.
Here's Havlicek's stats from that series. He averaged 28, 11, and 4.
And what were West, Uncle Doug?
37.9, 4.7, and 7.4.
Yeah, 37, 4, and 7, and 28, 11, and 4.
Yeah.
You don't know this big surprising thing is Wilt Chamberlain only averaged 11 points in that series.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Probably why they lost.
Yeah, probably is.
Still
Yeah.
went 7 though.
Because
He
Jerry
only
West
averaged
probably.
11 points for the series. Was he hurt?
Oh, he averaged 25 rebounds, so I don't know if he's hurt.
Well, I mean,
but
he just got.
he averaged
Yeah,
11
Yeah, he just got to
points.
stand there and catch him.
Wow.
That's,
Russell
back
averaged
then.
only 9, so I mean they played each other to a draw.
Crazy.
Yeah,
You
Russell.
don't think about Chamberlain only averaged 11
Yeah, I mean,
points.
the Celtics didn't rely on Russell to score. The
Right.
Lakers definitely relied
Yeah.
on Chamberlain
Yes,
to score.
they did.
And outscore a lot, not 11,
Not 11 to 9.
like 30 at least.
Yeah, Wilt Chamberlain was the 4th leading scorer on the Lakers in that series,
That's crazy.
behind obviously West, Elgin Baylor, Johnny Egan was
Ooh,
the
I
3rd
don't know
leading
that
scorer.
one.
Good old Egan got it. Good old Egan.
But yeah, Elgin Baylor only shot 39% in that series.
Wow.
That is someone I feel bad for, though.
Elgin Baylor.
Yes, not winning a title, and then when
Yeah.
he retires, they win.
That's right, yeah.
They-
Like, it's
literally,
so-
he retired mid-season of the
Right.
year they won.
Like it,
Well,
and
nowadays,
he was
wouldn't they
so
give him a
good
ring?
for so long.
they
Yeah, I
retire?
mean, yeah, you're
'Cause now they're-
eligible
they're-
for a ring. He might have been then. I
Right,
have no
yeah.
idea.
Because it happened last year, and Deion Waiters last year he played for the Heat and the Lakers, and who was it this year? Because they played for the Bucks, and then the Bucks traded him to the Suns.
Oh, it was the
He got hurt.
kid off
Yeah.
the bigger, bulkier wing off the bench for the Suns.
I can't think of his name, but yeah, it
Crap,
happened
what
again.
is it? Man, that bothers me. Yeah, he was coming in for Crowder a lot.
Yeah, doesn't really matter as long as
Yeah.
he played for both teams.
But
Yeah.
but at the same time, though, like, yeah, I'm sure he was eligible for a ring, but I don't
not-
know that I'd want it.
No.
Right, yeah.
Like,
If I
it would-
wasn't playing,
It's not
Yeah.
the same.
especially retired.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's one thing to be hurt, but
Mm-hmm.
But imagine going to all of those finals and always losing to the same team, and you retire, and and 2 months later your team wins. It's like, ugh.
yeah.
The most deflating thing ever.
Not only that, but he gave up so much for his NBA career because he was in the, I don't remember which branch, so I don't want to misspeak. So he was in the armed forces, and he was, for like 2 seasons, he was only allowed to play on weekends in the NBA because he had Monday through Friday he had to be on base. So he would literally get done with his duty on Friday, get on a plane, fly to wherever the Lakers were, play for the weekend, and then 1 or 2 games, however many they had on the weekend, and then turn around and fly back to base and do his armed forces duty. No wonder his body broke down.
Yeah.
Like,
That's crazy.
Imagine nowadays if like the best player in the NBA or a top 5 player only played on the weekends. Like, everyone would freak out.
yeah.
They'd be criticizing.
Like-
You can't do that to him. You have to let him play.
Giannis only Saturdays and Sundays. You hear me?
Rest of the week he's in Greece.
You're serving in Greece now. Just
Anyway, we kind of got off away from West there for a minute, but I don't know. West clearly had a better series than John Havlicek did. I'm not trying to make that case, but it's not like I don't know. I mean, like I said, they gave it to goddamn Iguodala before giving it to LeBron. So I just want to know, like, did everybody just love Jerry West so much? Like, we got to give it to this guy.
Maybe.
Like, we got to give it to him.
I don't
Iguodala
know.
was-
Is it even considered anymore?
I thought Iguodala had a great series that game, or that.
Okay, pull it up. What were Iguodala's numbers?
I mean, I don't know what
He averaged
Iguodala's
like
numbers
14
were,
points.
but
Yeah.
the claim to him doing it was because he guarded LeBron, while LeBron averaged 36 and 10 or something.
his
Like,
usual 30-point triple-double.
what year was that? The 16 finals?
Yeah,
That was the year
It was the
bef-
first one.
Or 2 years before Durant got there.
It was the first one because they.
Yes.
Yeah, it was the first one because they win, and then they do the '73 season. They
'Cause-
lose,
Yeah.
and then Durant comes and they win.
Yeah, they
And-
win,
and-
lost, won.
And by the way, this is not me bashing Iguodala. I think Iguodala is a fine player, and he's been a good player for a long time. I just didn't think he was Finals MVP.
Steph Curry was Finals
Yeah.
MVP.
See, I didn't think that. I thought Iguodala
Ray.
was outright.
Ray.
Well, I was off on how good. Oh no, hold on. That's not the correct thing. LeBron averaged 29, 11, and 9.
Okay, see?
Yeah, there you go. Just like what
Yeah.
it said.
Yeah, so he had a pretty good series.
And I believe
Golden
Curry
State
averaged like 24 a game or something like that.
22. He averaged
22.
22, 4, and 3. He did not shoot well. He was down. Like he had a down series. I mean, I'm not denying that, but he was still probably the best player on his team.
Indeed.
Although I didn't realize how good Draymond was in that series.
Oh,
This
Draymond.
is before Draymond forgot how to shoot.
Right. Draymond was like 48, 40, 78 from the field. I mean, like that was a shooting.
Say that again.
48% from the field, 40% from 3, and 78% from the line.
That must have been the one good year of shooting he had.
Yeah.
And he averaged 16, 10, and 6, and a block and a steal.
Maybe he had the case over Iguodala and Curry.
But Iguodala averaged 9 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists.
Yeah.
A triple single for Finals MVP. A triple single. Are you serious?
My kind of people.
I did not realize it
I'd
was
rather
that.
give it to Draymond.
Did Curry or Clay lead the league in or team in scoring? I'm
Curry
sorry.
did. Clay averaged 19,
Oh, so it's-
and he only shot 35% from the 3. They
What-
both didn't shoot well. I think that's why the series went as long as it did. Really.
What was Curry's percentages?
He shot 40% from the field and 40% from 3. So
Oh.
that must be hard to do, to not shoot all threes and get your percentages to be the same. That must be hard to do.
Yeah.
So he shot good from 3, just not great from everywhere else.
He might as well just back up.
That's
Yeah.
a triple single.
But if my memory serves me correctly, in the final game of the series, which always in Game 7, I mean, which usually weighs heavy on voters, I believe Iguodala had 20-some points.
Yeah.
I don't know that for a
Yeah.
fact. I'll have to
His
look.
best game was probably that last one. He probably had some good defensive plays on LeBron.
Oh yeah, he did.
I
did.
remember him. He
In the
Yeah,
final
he'll-
game, Iggy. Where the hell is it? Sorry. They've confused me with the way they've lined up this box score. Oh, it says 4 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. What the hell was I thinking?
We were all wrong. I originally said I thought he averaged 14, and I was wrong. And now we thought he had a 20-point game. He had a 4-point game.
Well, I'm going to the
He was
previous
worse
game.
than expected, and we expected him to be bad.
I think everybody fell asleep when they voted for the MVP then.
Say, what was the deal?
And in Game 6, he had 5 points.
While LeBron's dropping 30, 10, and 10 every night. He played great defense.
I must have been dreaming or something. I thought he played way better.
I thought
Oh
he
my
played better than
God.
this. I didn't think he was great, but I thought he was
I
better
could have
than
went out there and
this.
scored 5 points.
Oh, man.
He had 15 and 11 in Game 5.
Okay.
Okay,
At
there
least
we
a
go.
double. At least one.
One
Yeah.
double.
That's very impactful.
Has he?
Are we just going through the Iguodala series now?
yeah.
I think Curry scored more than him in one game than Iguodala has all
Iggy
series.
had 10, 6, and 7 in Game 4.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
We're picking it up.
Well, he picked it up for a minute anyway.
It's about to drop
Those
back
first
off.
couple games were like Brian Scalabrine numbers. Scalabrine has a ring too, I believe.
Does he? From where?
He wasn't he on the Celtics when they won? Was he a
Oh,
bench
you're
player?
right. He might have been. Yeah, he had 11 in Game 3.
It's about to drop off. He's gonna average 9.
I'm telling you, I thought I remembered a 20-point game in this damn series, man.
That's why we're going.
I feel
through the
like a
whole series.
dumbass.
I had faith in you, Iguodala, and you failed me.
He had 7 points in Game 2. So now Game 1 is our last hope.
Last hope,
Someone should have bet on
Come
it.
on,
Game
Iggy.
1.
Let's go, Iggy.
So
I'm guessing.
And in
6.
Game 1, Andre Iguodala had 12 points.
Damn you. Iguodala.
But Sean Livingston had 20.
okay.
Okay, I can get behind Sean Livingston. I'm down with that.
Not him being finals MVP.
Well, no. They didn't vote
Better
for
than
him.
what? 9, 7, and 4.
Oh, man.
damn.
How did
can't
none of
believe
us
it.
see this when they handed the trophy out?
Yeah.
Like last night when they handed the Giannis 35, whatever and whatever. Iguodala 9, 7, and 4. Your final.
They probably didn't put it on the screen. They didn't want anybody
I
to see
bet
it.
they didn't.
They were like, they just put
No, they
like
were
he
probably
guarded
like-
LeBron.
They felt like this.
They
And I'm
were-
doing like a no-look pass handle with the trophy. And he's like, yeah.
Curry would probably been more mad if it wasn't all their first finals
Yeah.
championship.
By the way, in that same series, obviously he didn't guard LeBron, but not that he, LeBron tore him up. But we make fun of Harrison Barnes for that series and how terrible he was. You want to hear his stats compared to Iggy's?
Yes, I do.
Another
Yeah,
candidate.
they both averaged 9 points a game. The rebounds are 4 to 6, and the assists are 1 to 4. Well, I guess what I'm saying is their statistics are not that far, and we make fun of one guy. And one guy won MVP.
They got rid of one and one got MVP. Yeah, and they have the same stats almost. They're like, hey, this guy sucks. Hey, this guy's the best player on the team. Let's do it.
And
Oh my gosh.
They both averaged 9.
Harrison Barnes shot better from 3 than Iggy did.
Yeah.
Did he have a 20-point game?
And Iguodala shot 33% from free throw in this.
Oh my god.
But that's her finals.
This has to be the worst MVP performance of all
It
time.
has to be. Yeah, that's
I
just
can't
awful.
think of
Just think.
33%. That, like, if you shoot that from the field, it's like, holy shit. From the free throw line?
And he's not a big guy.
All right, so I just figured this out, guys. We screwed this up because he didn't win the MVP in 16.
Did you look at the wrong one? What?
No, I got 2016 pulled up, but he's not the Finals MVP.
Who got it in 16 then?
It says
But the other 2 years they won, Durant got it.
because the Cavaliers won it in 16.
was it
LeBron's the
15?
Finals
So it'd be
MVP.
15.
So it'd be
15. 15.
Okay.
So we've been sitting here making fun of Iggy, and we don't even have the right year pulled
No
up.
wonder they lost in 16. He played terrible.
All right, let's see. My prediction was right. I said Iggy averaged 14 and Curry averaged 24 in that year.
16's the
But
other
I
ca-
said he had a 20-point game. That's
Yeah,
all I want.
That's right. We got to find it.
Yeah, 16's the one where the Cavs came back from 3-1.
And I thought Curry shot okay.
That's why they lost that
Well,
series. The rest of them shot.
in 16, isn't that when Curry got hurt? He hurt his ankle.
Yeah,
Probably.
and Draymond got suspended for
and Draymond
attacking
got
him.
2000
suspended.
In 2015, Andre Iguodala was the Finals MVP. So we have the right
All right,
one.
we got
this
the right
time.
year. Okay.
All right. Andre Iguodala averaged 16, 5, and 4.
Okay.
Much better.
Yeah.
Still not great, but much
Not
better.
a triple single.
While Curry averaged 26, 5, and 6
Yeah, there we go.
on 44, 38, 88.
So he was the MVP.
Yeah, probably should have been.
Yeah.
Although, and I will say this, Iggy was the second leading scorer on the team, though. I didn't realize he outscored Clay in that series.
Did Clay shoot bad? Well, I'm guessing
Clay
he had
shot
to shoot bad.
30% from 3 and 40% from the field.
Oh.
Okay, let's see what Iggy did to LeBron defensively.
Yeah, what
let's-
did LeBron
let's look
do?
at LeBron.
'Cause that's where
LeBron was
36, 12, and 10.
35, 13, and 8.
that got worse.
Dude.
So we got better on offense and worse on defense.
And LeBron's
Yeah.
assists went down because Kyrie and Kevin Love are hurt. That's why that's 8.
Yeah, and LeBron's.
Yeah, Kyrie played one game in that series, and Kevin Love played none.
So he got MVP for averaging 16 points and giving up 35 a game.
Yeah.
Although I will say, LeBron shot 39% from the field in that series.
The whole series?
The whole series.
Well, he's probably taking 60 shots a game.
Oh, yeah, it was him and Dellavedova shooting.
Timothy Mozgov.
He shot
Mozgov.
196 times in that
Ooh.
series.
Was
Wow.
It was only 6 games, right?
Yes, 6 games, and Curry took the most shots for his team at 122.
That's
So
a big.
he took like almost 80 more or 70 more shots.
LeBron's shooting the ball like 33 times a game.
The 39% does help Iguodala's case.
It
though.
does. LeBron's a career like 53% shooter, so
Yeah.
shooting 39%.
Right,
I guess.
yeah.
And maybe we just look stupid here. I don't know. We said a lot of stupid shit.
I think he
during
goes
this
to
segment.
Steph.
Anyway, listeners, I assure you, this is a Jerry West episode.
We talk-
Not Warriors Cavs.
and we're sorry, Iguodala, for dissing on you for your triple
Yeah.
single.
Yeah, that was a complete screw up. I didn't even look at the top of the screen where it says champion, Finals MVP. All that stuff. I just said we said 16. I'm looking at 16.
Look at 16.
So
Are we
sorry.
done with Jerry West now?
we got to get back to Jerry West. We barely said anything about the guy. We did our opening statements, and then we went off on tangents about Finals MVPs and what was the other thing? I asked.
It
another
still
question.
should have been Curry.
Yeah, it should have been Steph.
But was the gap between LeBron and Steph less than the gap between Havlicek and West?
No,
Let's see. It was 35 to like 16, and they were 37 to 20 something. So
Yeah, 28. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, the gap was less between West and Havlicek.
So yeah, there's at least one time where we talked about it. I'm sure there's been plenty more. Where
Yeah, I'm sure there is. This one just stands out in my mind because it wasn't that long ago, and I thought it was really
Yeah.
weird.
Well, it
Yeah.
sounds like LeBron beats him in every stat. He doubles Iguodala's points. Average, what do you say, 13 rebounds, 8 assists?
13 rebounds, 8 assists. Yeah. Well, Iggy's averaging 4 assists and 5 rebounds. So
So
he
he-
overdoubles him,
and
or he
re-
doubles him and overdoubles him.
So, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not trying to take it away from West. I just wonder why that was the only instance that people did it.
Right.
Because we've seen this. You know what I'm saying? Like, West had a great series, no doubt. But I don't know. It's just really weird. I don't know. All right, so getting away from Finals MVPs. All this, I know we're going back probably 30 minutes now, Ray, but we all gave our opening statements about Jerry West. Did anything ring true to you, or something stand out to you, or?
I mean, it all sounds good. And, I mean, with me comparing to point guard in the beginning, I mean, I was on to something great. And then, I don't know. I don't. He looks better at a skill set than Havlicek, so I give him a leg up on that one. But I just don't see him. I mean, he might be like maybe a 6th man of the year in present day, but I don't see him cementing like a Hall of Fame legacy other than sixth man of the year. I just don't see that in present day with Jerry West.
I will, in somewhat defense of what you're saying, I think the transition to point guard in later eras would be maybe a little more difficult for him. But I mean, he was a shooting machine. So I still
that's
think
true.
he's going to get some buckets.
And I mean, he's got a good shot, and I'll give that to him. But
He was extremely intelligent, from what I could tell and from what I read and other people talking about him. I think he was it him? It was either him or one of the old Celtics players. I heard say one time, for every dunk an NBA player gets now, we would have had 3 backdoor cuts or something like that. Just something to do with how we played basketball and how they played basketball and stuff like that. I don't know. It was kind of a neat quote, but
it's just if they do switch into point guard, I see him getting a lot of trouble defensive matchups. Like, let me go to my list here.
well, I mean,
We got Peyton, like number 1 public enemy.
do you think he could be Steve Nash? Steve Nash was a great shooter and
he-
developed into a great passer.
I think he would probably dominate Nash, but I don't see him, probably controlling the game like Nash does as a point guard.
Talking about West?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I see West maybe scoring on Nash, but I see Nash maybe controlling the game better than Jerry West does.
No, I mean like comparing the two. Like he would grow up playing point guard probably. He would
Right.
develop into a point guard instead of a forward or a shooting guard. So he would, and Nash was a phenomenal shooter just like West. And he came in the league, was a good passer, and developed into a great passer in the middle of his career.
Right.
I think West could have a similar outlook on his career as a point guard, maybe.
I think.
mean-
Sorry, Ray.
I mean, if they came up in the same time frame,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I think it would probably be really, really comparable among the two. But since you're like decades apart, and you want to mash them up, I don't know.
That's always the hard
Yeah,
part. Trying to
that's-
figure out
that's
how to do
hard.
it.
I think this is a hard thing, simply for the fact of we can look at West averaging 9 assists a game, which is impressive. I'm not trying to take it away from him, I'm really
Yeah.
not. But I've never watched Jerry West play basketball games, so I can't speak to. Did he control the game? Did he control the tempo? Did he run the offense? Or was I don't know. I'm literally saying I don't know these things. So it's I think that's part of the reason these players, 50s, 60s, even some of the 70s, can be frustrating because there's so many things you don't know.
Yeah.
And it's like I think that a lot of things you can make educated guesses on. He's a really good shooter. He's probably would have been able to shoot threes. Like we can make an educated guess about that. But as far as running the team, controlling tempo, pick and rolling, whatever the case may be, I have no idea.
I mean, not
Yeah.
even that though. You also in this era, you don't have these like gym hungry, beast 260-pound, power forwards in the paint trying to stop you on drives to the basket. I mean, you got a couple big guys, but you don't have these massive dudes like we do now.
I mean, that's the real big difference between older NBA and newer NBA is weight. It's not really height. I mean, at this early there wasn't a lot of height, but by the time you get, especially to the 70s, the height's all there. It's the weight that is the big
And
difference. The guys are
Skill
way
sets.
heavier.
As time goes
Well,
on, people
yeah,
get
yeah.
better at everything.
No,
Right.
I
Yeah,
agree with that too. I just meant like body wise.
Yeah.
They had the height. It was the weight. Even from the 80s and 90s to now, there's a weight difference between the
Sure.
players.
Yeah, and like just as far as skill sets, like an average shot in today's NBA is a fadeaway 3 feet behind the 3-point line, or a step back, which that was ridiculous 15 years ago, and people couldn't make it and didn't shoot it, and now it's an average shot done every day. Like people, as time goes on, people have developed and gotten better at shooting and everything, just everything in general.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
Well, not only that, but coaching philosophies have changed.
Yeah.
If you shot that shot in this time, it was come sit with me, buddy. You're not going back in the game.
There wasn't even
Right.
a point line to
Yeah.
make it worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now coaches, we see James Harden do that 15 times a game. Nobody says a word to him.
Luka.
Luka, all sorts of guys, and nobody cares. maybe us, but the coach doesn't say anything to him. I'm sure if Jerry West did that, even as being as great as he was, his coach would be like, "What the hell are you doing? Stop doing that."
Yeah.
Like that. You look stupid. I mean, look what they said those things about Pistol Pete.
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
yeah, they did.
I mean, that was even later than this. So
yeah, he got in all kinds of trouble for doing modern day shots.
I guess my thoughts on the point guard transfer, or however you want to call it, moving to point guard. I don't have too many doubts in my head that he could have done it. He did it fairly successfully at the end of his career. I think he was always going to be a scorer. He was always going to shoot and look to score. But when the team says, "Hey man, we really need you to score," and we're also looking at the 70s or to pass and set the team up, and we're looking at the 70s at this point, so it's a little later. And he's in his, early to mid 30s. He's going 9, 8, on assists. I mean, I think it was good. And at the end of his career, all of his percentages are still really good as far as shooting. I mean, so it's not like he was suffering to set his teammates up offensively. I mean, his points did go down slightly. Right before this started, he went from averaging 31 to 27, then he went to 25 and 22. But again, he's mid 30s by that point, so he was going to start going down one way or the other, I think. But I think he could have made the move to point guard, even if he wasn't as much of a on-ball scorer. He was always going to be able to spot up. And he could facilitate, and then if he played with a guy that was also a scorer, like he did in his day with Elgin Baylor or Wilt Chamberlain, he could spot up off those guys and make it rain if they brought doubles or whatever the case may be. I don't have any doubt that Jerry could play. I don't know. I don't think he would do this, mind you. When I mean this, I mean his current statistics. I know I brought it up in, I don't remember which episode, one of the old guy episodes, that there's a site that is slowly transferring guys' numbers to possession and adjusting them for possession rates. They still only have 6 guys done. But Jerry West is one of them because they're doing the big guys first. Wilt, Russell, West, Pettit, those guys. And West's numbers after the possession rate slows down were 25, 4, and 4. So still very good numbers. And obviously that doesn't affect your percentages, so those things don't go down. But 25, 4, and 4 is not 27, 5, and 6, but it's still very good numbers that I think hold up. That's all I got.
I mean, yeah, you got a good point. And Wade made a good point about the Nash thing, too. I mean, they're probably more similar in point guard if they grew up in the same era. They're probably close to the same guy, but I don't know. I mean, it's tough to compare from 60 to the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, if he just grew up later on and played in the same era as Nash, he would just grow up playing point guard just by the development of the game and all that.
His size.
Yeah,
they would have been like, "Hey, dude, you're too short. You got to play point."
Like,
Right.
You're not a small forward. Get the hell out of here.
Right. Yeah. Well, Drew, you're the guy with him the highest. We haven't really talked to you much about after your opening statement. Why do you think you have him at 7, and not even necessarily Ray doesn't have him at all, but much higher than the other 3 of us?
I don't know. I just think because of his scoring, I think he's just such a great scorer, averaging 27. I think that's the 4th all-time points per game.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken. I think that's very impressive. Obviously not the all-time. He didn't play as long as some of the other people that have the most points, but I think just for as long as he played, he was just dominating, scoring that many points all the time. I mean, I know he wasn't very clutch, even though that's his nickname, going 1 for 8 in NBA Finals, but he did get one, and I don't know who did get the Finals MVP. Probably Wilt in '72, I would guess. Or is it?
I don't know who won the
Who
Finals
knows?
MVP that
But it's
year.
not him.
Yeah, because
I mean, he has one.
but it's in '69.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who got it in
Right.
72?
What year did they win it?
72.
Okay,
71, 72. Or no, wait,
Say.
sorry, 72. I don't know why I said
Yes.
71.
12 All-NBA teams, 14 All-Stars. So of his 14-year career, so he only missed 2 years for the All-NBA team. So that's pretty good. 5 defense, so he could play some defense, I think. So again, he's another person that I think could play both ways. I think he translates the all eras basketball. I think he could play not 27, 5, and 6 nowadays, but I think he could definitely play point guard nowadays.
Wilt Chamberlain won the Finals MVP.
Yeah.
What do you average? Well, since we've done this, for half the episode, what do you average?
19 points, 23 rebounds, and 2 assists.
I mean, for Wilt though, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But this is the knock
19.
on Wilt. We're going to talk about this in 20 or 30 episodes about how Wilt didn't show up in big situations. And that's why he was the most dominant player of an era, but he let some guy that was 6'9", 215 beat him. Like, we're talking about a 300-pound man here.
Supposedly he's talked about him benching whatever and
He
all.
was like 600 or 700 pounds.
Yeah.
He claims
But he
that
couldn't-
could do that
but he
on multiple talk shows
Yeah.
and stuff. But I mean, we're talking about a guy who averaged 50 points a game, and he averaged 19 in the NBA.
and the 1 year was 11.
Yeah, that's true too.
And Jerry West got him the 7 games.
What was West average in that finals?
19, 4, and 8.
Mm.
So it's really, they would average the same amount of points, but then there's this huge number of 25 on Wilt's stat line that really just sticks out.
That sounded like one of the years where Jerry had more passing than he did scoring. It sounded like he was passing more that year.
Yeah, he had 8 assists.
Yeah, it's near the end of his career.
Because they were looking towards the
But
year he started
it's his-
passing more.
Jerry only shot 32% from the field in that series.
Ooh,
yeah,
yikes.
that.
Okay, did Wilt shoot bad or just not shoot?
Wilt shot 60% from the field.
So it wasn't shooting.
So he
Yeah.
wasn't shooting at all. He was just
Yeah,
making
Gail Goodrich shot a lot more than everybody. He shot 47% and averaged 25. He just didn't do anything else.
Damn, Gale, I knew he was a ball hog.
What's it with you and talking about all these people?
And then they beat the Knicks that year, where Frazier averaged 23, 8, and 8. Lucas averaged 29 and 6. Bill Bradley 19, 2, and 3. Phil Jackson averaged 11, 5, and 5.
We don't need another rest, Alex. We got it.
Jackson.
Well, I was looking for DeBusschere, or not DeBusschere, Reed. But he's not on here.
He gone.
Where was Willis Reed in '72?
I don't know. Was he hurt?
Must have been because they won another title in a couple of years, and he was there for that.
Probably was hurt, I would guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Could be.
Interesting.
All right, I got one more question for Odrusive.
Oh, boy.
Why do you have Jerry West ahead of Larry Bird?
Why do I have Jerry West and Larry Bird?
This is just pure curiosity.
I don't know, to be honest with you. See, I'm not
The
prepared for
feeling.
this.
That's what it is. Again. We're back to the feeling.
No.
I feel like
The feeling
the
was
feeling
one-
is that he's a Laker. Is that it? No, I'm joking with you.
I like Larry Bird. Where do I even have Larry at?
One below him.
Oh, that's not that big a deal.
So you flipped a coin, is what you're saying?
No, I was not flipping a coin when I did this.
You can think about it. I was just.
I'll get back to you on it, Wade.
I was just curious. Okay.
On air or off air?
I'll do it on there.
Oh, okay.
Not the next episode, because
Well, Larry Bird's gonna be a long time from now.
No, I'll do it once we get done recording for the night. I'll go home and I'll do it. And by the next time we do an episode, I'll have the answer. We'll start off with this.
By the way, I should know this, and I probably shouldn't say it on air, but I'm gonna say it anyway. What number of episode is this?
I think it's 20.
I think it's 30.
Yeah, 30.
I think it's episode 30.
So we have 42 more episodes
yeah.
of players, and then we have a wrap up.
Right.
So, yeah, there's 72 total players. Yeah,
We're
there's
not even
72
halfway.
total episodes.
Oh my god.
Or players to go over. So,
We got a ways to go.
yes.
And then we're going to do a Survivor reunion episode, and we're going to do a whole new list.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Okay.
yeah. So, do we do our closing statements before we do trivia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, Ray, what you got, buddy?
I think I kind of got a little head turn from Wade's comparison with the Nash thing, but I'm not real sure if I'm ready to put him on my list. But that is a great comparison. They are probably similar players in the spectrum of the point guard, but I don't know. I'd have to, go into the lab and, do some math and
YouTube.
yeah, YouTube it up and maybe think about it a little bit more. But that was a good comparison, so I props Wade on the Nash thing. And that's my closing statement.
Fair enough. So I guess that leads to me, the next lowest guy. I feel like I stand out here because I haven't rated the lowest of the guys that have him on the list, but I really don't have anything bad to say about Jerry West. I think Jerry West is very good. I mean, I have him at 26, which I don't feel like is low.
But on shooting guards, we're right there. We're
Yeah,
all
yeah, yeah.
3 and
Yeah,
4.
yeah,
so
yeah.
we're all the same.
Yeah, I just have my shooting guards, I guess, strung out farther
Yeah.
than you guys do. So, yeah, is a good point, Uncle Doug. So I think Jerry could translate, maybe not exactly like he is, but I think he could translate. I think his shooting would give him a boost with the three-point line, and I think he would still go down as a great player. Wade?
I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet.
Like me.
Yeah. If you're badass enough to be the logo, you're badass enough to be on my list.
I like it.
Mic drop.
So that would lead us to Uncle Doug, right?
Yeah. Jerry played long enough that I probably saw him a little bit when I was a kid. Of course, the NBA was not on much back then. But he just had a lot of heart, and the man could shoot. And I'll leave it at that.
All right. And then our top guy, Drew. What you got for us, bud?
Well, his shooting, I think, was just impressive for his era that he was going to be able to shoot 47%. Like I said earlier, I think people nowadays would love to have that shooting percentage. And I just think finals MVP on the losing team just to get it. I know we talked earlier about some of the ones that are closer, but just for him to get that, I think that's very impressive, I think.
Fair enough. So that'll wrap up the Jerry West portion of the episode. So we can move into the trivia portion of said episode. And who would like to go first?
I'll go first. Oh, right. Oh,
No, go ahead. Go
All
ahead,
right.
Drew.
All right,
Since we've
Drew.
been talking about finals MVPs, which finals MVP averaged the fewest points ever?
I got a question. Did you have this before we talked about Iguodala?
No.
There's been a lot of finals MVPs.
That averaged the fewest points.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, if you want me to give you a hint, it's not Iguodala.
Well, best together right now.
All right, I got one.
Because I wasn't going to do that because that'd be
Yeah.
I wasn't guessing Iguodala anyway, but I
I-
appreciate the hint.
I'm struggling to think.
Oh, man.
My
not
goodness.
like you, Wade.
I know.
Oh, I got one.
I like it that Wade's not thinking. I like that.
Gives us a chance to catch up.
Hey,
Okay.
okay, I got an answer.
Is that everybody?
Yep.
All right. I got Russell.
I said Russell.
I said Joe Dumars.
It said Bill Walton.
Wes Unseld for the Washington Bullets.
Oh,
1978.
I
Yeah,
could see that.
But
Yeah.
But it's the same premise as Russell. He's a big rebounder.
Right.
But didn't
He
score a lot.
averaged
Yep.
9 points, 11 rebounds, and like 4 assists.
That's it?
yeah.
Only 11.
9 and 11?
Yeah.
Wow. And he played with Elvin Hayes. What the hell was Elvin Hayes doing?
He was the
Coke.
What?
Coke?
Well,
Wow. All right.
Elvin Hayes was the leading.
We're talking
well,
70s here.
yeah.
Well, I guess.
What'd you say about Elvin Hayes?
he was for the whole playoffs. He led the whole league in scoring. So I don't know what he was doing.
Oh, all right then.
All right.
Okay.
Is it all right if I go next?
Yeah, sure. I don't care.
Since last week I talked about Elvin Hayes, that's a perfect segue to me.
Yeah.
All right. Sticking to the college trend.
Oh, okay.
All right. Most everyone knows where Larry Bird went to college. It is Indiana State.
Yep.
Do you know the mascot?
Actually, I have to correct you. Larry Bird went to Ball State, so Indiana State. I don't know the mascot.
It's Indiana State.
Yeah, because
I thought he went to Ball State.
No, he went to
Yeah,
Indiana
Indiana
State.
they were
State.
undefeated when
He
they
started
played
in Indiana
Magic.
and then left and then went to Indiana State where he finished.
All right, so we can't count off for spelling it. I think I'm right. I'm not 100% sure, but I know I didn't spell it
I
right.
have a
So
guess.
Oh, if you don't
Yeah.
spell it right, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like, no, it's a spelling bee.
By the way, have you guys read up on Indiana State and what they've done to their basketball program since Bird? Like they got rid of it and have like erased Bird's team from like the record books and everything. I read a big old article on it the other
that's
day about how they
crazy.
not that they like erase it it physically doesn't exist, but they just don't recognize it. Like we don't care about it. We're an academic institution.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
It's like really weird. Which probably that tournament run probably brought them more money than the history of their
Yeah.
college. But anyway, has everybody got an answer?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's see.
All right, I put Sycamores.
I put Sycamores.
I don't know.
Okay.
Well,
Corn.
close enough. It is. His name is Sycamore Sam, but he's a squirrel. I don't.
I put corn.
I put corn.
That would be the logical guess. I would have to go with Drew on that one.
Squirrels eat corn.
So are you giving it to us, Wade, or no?
Sure, fuck it.
All right.
We appreciate it.
That's right.
Yes.
Alex and I need all the help we can get.
Yes, but yes, his name. The squirrel's name is Sycamore Sam.
Okay.
I shouldn't have gave it to him, Drew.
No, because you're letting them catch me.
I know.
All right.
Catch you, I'm
Ray, I
gonna
know
beat
you
you.
wanted to go earlier. Are you
They're
ready?
like one
Yeah, I'm
behind
good.
me.
All right.
All right. Name the smallest city by population that has an NBA franchise today.
By population, you
Yeah.
say? That's a good question, Ray. I like that. I don't know the answer to it, but I like it.
I love these Kindle trivia books.
All right. I got to guess.
I got to guess, too.
Okay, I got one. No.
Drew, you look
Yeah.
so unhappy over there. Like, totally bummed.
Freaking corn was my guess. All right, I got one.
All right, go ahead,
All
guys.
right. I put Orlando.
I said OKC.
I said OKC.
Said Milwaukee.
It is actually Salt Lake City,
Oh.
Oh.
Wow.
the Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
Good question, Ray. I like that one.
Yeah.
That was interesting. That leaves me and you, Uncle Doug.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and go.
All right.
I'm a couple of my trivia questions got answered during the podcast, so I'm not going to give those away. So I'm going to do a little preview of the next episode.
Oh boy.
Bob Pettit was third on the NBA rebounding list. 1 is Wilt, 2 is Russell. Who's number 4?
We're talking about average.
Yes.
Average.
okay.
I was really hoping you were
Okay.
going to say who's 1 and 2 because I was like, I just looked this up and I know.
Yeah, it's rebound average.
Yeah, I was
Sorry.
gonna say, yeah, because I
That's
was going to
average.
say, I don't think Pettit's third. But
I would
yeah,
say,
but
yeah,
on
okay.
average.
Yeah,
it
Yeah,
makes more
I'm
average
talking
is
average.
third.
Yeah. Yeah, Wilt was number 1. Russell was 2. Bob Pettit was 3rd. So, who's number 4?
I have a guess anyway.
Yep.
I'll change my guess.
Changes.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I don't know. I'm not feeling it today.
Well, we haven't exactly put a dent in your lead, so
All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said Green.
I said Nate Thurman.
I just said Elgin Baylor.
And I said Jabbar as well.
Jerry Lucas.
Oh.
Ooh,
Okay.
Lucas.
Yeah.
You know, Jerry Lucas has come up a few times.
He has.
What's
He's
his-
got some pretty impressive numbers.
He does.
That whole Knicks team was just good.
How
Yeah.
many rebounds did it? Do you know, Dad? How many he has at 4th? Because I think Pettit has 16.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Let me look here. I don't think I've got it written down here anyplace. Sorry.
I was just wondering.
Well, it's not the end of the world, but I'll get it pulled up here in a second. Jerry Lucas, 15.6.
Okay.
So his career averages are 17, 15, and 3, and he shot 50% from the field.
That's pretty good.
Back then, that's like 65 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he played from 62 to 74, so almost the exact same time as West.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. That leaves me, right?
Yep.
All right. So the finals just ended. In the NBA Finals, it's been pretty well advertised that Giannis was dominating. Giannis led the Bucks with 13 rebounds a game. Who was second on the Bucks in rebounds per game? Very quiet.
Nope, I think I have it.
Got to think for a second.
Maybe. Hold on, let me change the last letter. I think I misspelled.
Okay.
I got one.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All right. I said Holiday.
I said Holiday.
Bobby Portis.
I said Lopez.
The correct answer is Middleton.
Oh.
What?
But listen to this. At 6.3, while Holiday averaged 6.2.
No! We were close.
we were right there, Wade.
Wow.
But yeah,
I knew it wouldn't be Lopez. He hasn't rebounded since 2014.
no, dude, he had a game earlier in the series where he played like 26 minutes and had 1 rebound.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, wow.
There was a time where he'd average like 8 or 9 rebounds a game, and then something happened like 6 years ago where he said, fuck it, and just stopped rebounding.
Right. Yeah, Lopez. This was a bad matchup for Lopez. Don't get me wrong, but he was a severe disappointment in this series. All right. So after the tallies for this week, the scores are as follows. Ray with 16 ended his streak of scoring.
I did that last week, son. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, did you? I thought
Yeah.
you scored last week.
No.
Oh, it was 2 weeks before that you scored in a row?
Yeah.
All right, my bad. All
Just
right.
letting you know, bro.
16 for Ray, 31 for Uncle Doug, 32 apiece for Drew and Alex, and 41 for Wade.
I mean, you shouldn't have said corn.
I had no idea.
Wade's lead was not moved into. I caught Drew, and Doug got closer to Drew, but nobody got any closer to Wade than Drew was already. So Wade's lead stays at 9. And that'll wrap up this week's episode of Jerry West. We appreciate your listen and tuning in. And please tune in next week for the Bob Pettit episode.
Let's go, baby. It's time.
You've only heard about Bob Pettit every episode.
You're going to hear about it every episode after.
All 30 episodes he's come up.
So, yes,
We're
please
here.
tune in while Drew makes a case why Bob Pettit
I've got
is
2
way better
pages
than
ready,
he is.
guys. I'm ready.
Yeah,
Thanks for your listen to Sports the Nemo Way.